I'm 65 and I decided to start a YouTube channel. I still work a little bit part-time. I'm a massage therapist, a yoga teacher, a somatics coach, and I do a lot of work with people with fascia. And that's a whole thing in amongst itself. So I've had some interesting experiences over the year. A couple of years ago, I got diagnosed, and turns out I'm neurodivergent. I'm not surprised. You're going to notice that I fidget and I touch my face and I move my hands. And it's my first video. I'm watching other people's videos and listening to what they say. And hopefully I'll learn and be able to get rid of some of those habits, at least long enough to film some video. So my name is Michelle. Welcome to my Chapman. Yeah, I'm not even going to edit that out. Welcome to my channel. And it's called The Field Guide to Being Human. It was hard for me to pick a niche. I've been swimming around in these waters for probably 3 years. I knew I wanted to do this, but I had to figure out what I was going to do. And because I'm neurodivergent, I love rabbit holes. I will explore things to death. Sometimes I feel like Bugs Bunny, he gets down a rabbit hole and he takes a wrong turn to Albuquerque. That's me. I will go down that rabbit hole and find more rabbit holes. And so, yeah, I'm there a long time. So I'm hoping that I'm going to teach people some stuff. I have another channel that I want to start for massage therapists and body workers so that I can teach them how I work, because it is a little bit unique. When you do this stuff for long enough, you kind of have your own methods, and I like to share that with other people, because I think it would be a shame to just not leave a legacy, right? So, but really, I'm here just like everybody else. Things happen in your life. I have a pension, but who knows how far that's going to go and how much everything is going to go up in price, right? So it's kind of a big deal. I live in Canada in a province called New Brunswick, and I'm in the northern part, close to the Maine border. I love it up here. It's mountains and it's rugged. And so I made some little shorts with Sasquatch in it, and it's almost like a joke kind of thing I have with some of my friends back home. My hometown is about 4 hours from here. I moved here for a change during the pandemic. So it's been an interesting journey. I learned a lot of things. And one of the things that I learned that was interesting over the years, and probably some of it was just because of the things I was personally experiencing, balance issues and tightness in my body and stress, because like everybody, I'm single and now, and you just go through trauma for a lot of different reasons in your life, right? And so when I was studying some yoga courses, one of them was Yoga Fit Warriors, and it's for people who are, originally it was designed for veterans, and then it went on for first responders and then victims of abuse and so on and so on. And the thing that they talked about, which I learned about more at that time, there I am touching my face, is the polyvagal theory. And so it was really interesting because it started tying things together with some of the training that I took here and there. And what's interesting about it is our bodies will tighten up because of stress and cause a lot of pain. And so people with chronic pain all through their bodies, people who have holding patterns in certain areas, fight or flight. Most of us went into fight or flight during the pandemic. That was interesting. And then now coming out of it, our whole life is different. We've gone on to become a society that doesn't socialize. And there's this epidemic of loneliness. And of course, me being the person who loves to research and, especially with the neuroscience and stuff, what I discovered is there's a lot of ways that we can be happy on our own. And to be perfectly honest, I think I was always that way. I just didn't realize I was neurodivergent, and that's why. But I can entertain myself easily. I love doing crafts. I'm interested in learning things all the time. So for me, like going to learn the stuff to start doing my own videos was not really, I didn't mind doing it. Like I and I'll be honest, like I look stuff up almost obsessively. I watch videos, I follow certain people, and I read as much as I can. Lately, I've been playing around with AI, and those little shorts that I made were made with AI. And because initially I was terrified to get on the camera. But then I kept watching all these videos and watching all these videos. And I'm actually surprising myself right now because I thought I was going to be a lot worse than this. And this is totally unscripted because I lack executive function. So executive function kind of happens in the front part of your brain. And it's the thing that, the word execute. I can give you a billion ideas, but for me to execute them, like, it's horrible. I'm like going to go down rabbit holes, and I'm going to get distracted by everything and keep going off in all these different directions. And I'm horrible at it, but I'm such a good creative. I've been playing around with a lot of stuff, and I think I'm just gonna make this channel all about that. That's why I call it Field Guide to Being Human. Initially, I was going to be like, oh, we're just a soul in a meat sack, which basically we are. But so then I started like exploring getting into flow state and making comparisons with flow state and Kundalini yoga. And like when you look up the science, it's the same areas of the brain. So it is some really deep dives into this stuff. It's kind of fun. During the pandemic, I had to keep taking continuing education credits to be a massage therapist. And so it was difficult to get courses. And I discovered Andrew Huberman. And God, I love that guy's show. And then, he had he had all these guests on. Some of my favorites were Peter Attia because he does a lot of stuff on longevity. And so also Rich Roll. Oh my God. It's my dream someday to like meet that man. I love watching the way he interviews people. He's so interesting and has such great questions. So I started following all these people, and they had these great, great guests on. And I like the list of people that I watch is really endless, but I learn so much from all of them. And it's really not hard to entertain yourself, especially with YouTube. Like it was, I think for a lot of people, it was a lifesaver, but now it's also become a way of life. And so when I started seeing all these changes, and I started thinking about like, I don't want to waste all the things I learned. And I really do love sharing information with people. I seem to be able to break complex things down into simple language. And I think that's my gift. My clients are always saying to me, you tell us stuff that nobody ever tells us. And I just do it. When I took my massage course, the dean of the school at the time, Nadine Jackson. She was a wonderful, wonderful teacher. And one of the things that she had said to us was 80% of what you do is educate your clients. And when you think about that, we're only talking for a short period of time, or we're supposed to be. Sometimes I talk through the whole treatment. I try to be careful about it, honestly, because I do. That's why I practice mindfulness, because I'll never shut up. So, sorry, my time to go to sleep thing came up and it threw me right off. So yeah, I love to share information with people so that they're empowered, right? If you go home and you know, oh, I need to do this certain stretch, or I need to do an exercise, whatever it is. Sometimes people are dehydrated, they don't take magnesium. Some of this stuff's a little out of my scope of practice, but then I send them off to their doctor and say, ask your doctor, check your blood level. Maybe this is what you need. I don't discuss medications. I personally don't take them. I'm not saying people shouldn't, because a lot of times they are definitely necessary. I've been lucky enough to have good health. My two worst things, I had a double knee replacement in 2019, which is a whole other interesting story. And I discovered a lot about proprioception, and proprioception is how we know where we are in space. So we have little muscles that work with our eyes, and they go down through our body. Our nervous system interacts with them, and that's how we have balance. So one of the things, I'll probably do a series starting with the feet, so I can teach people how to open up their feet and balance properly on them, because that's, I think, a major part of why people fall. They don't have a good sense of balance. And after 50, people fall. And the older you are, the more risk you are of getting a hip fracture. And when that occurs, then often people will get sick and sometimes don't make it. It's kind of a sad thing to say. Something in my autistic brain doesn't tell, like, I know I shouldn't say it, but I'm gonna. It's who I am. And the reason I say it is because I really do care about people. And if I can give you some information so that that doesn't happen to you, then you know what? Even if I save one person from going through that, then I've done my job. It's not even my job. It's just, I don't know. I just care about people. So I am looking forward to sharing with you guys. I hope you go in the comments, and if you have questions that you want to know about, exercises, stretches, if you've got something, even sometimes with certain illnesses, I can't tell you much about the illness, but sometimes there are things we can do. And I can give you information, and massage therapy is wonderful. It is so good for so many things. Just simply even very, very light touch will calm your whole nervous system down. And often that, even just that, is enough to regulate your nervous system, and then it reduces some of your pain. So, but then there's all kinds of other things. Like, I work with all these tools. I'm looking in the corner because over there I've got exercise balls, I've got little balance boards. I do so many things, right? So I don't think I'll talk forever. I have a whole lot of stories, and they're going to be about everything. And I will talk about everything because it's about being human, right? And if any of my stories can help anybody else out, like, I can't even finish the whole story. Back, I was telling you about my knees. The other surgery I had was my eyes. I had my cataracts done. And surprisingly, I had a lot of the same symptoms in my body. from both surgeries, and because it's part of the proprioception, right? So balance issues. When I got my knees done, my eyes got blurry when I started working again because I was on my feet all the time. Then I got my eyes done, and then I started having tightness and balance issues in my body. And I was like, oh, this feels exactly the same as it did when I had my knees done, which was really weird. But I wasn't surprised because I have the knowledge to understand. And I used to work with a lot of um, clients with concussions, and they have all the same, not all, like parts are going to be different for sure, but a lot of the reactions were very, very, very similar. And so, of course, me being me, it was like, oh, a rabbit hole. So I went looking for the science, and I wasn't wrong. So it's empowering. And if I can tell you things, um, it's going to save you. Because, like, for example, I used to love to go fishing. And it's so relaxing, right? You just stand in the water and cast, and it's peaceful. I love being outside. And so a few years back, I was all of a sudden I didn't want to go. 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 And my ex kept saying, like, why don't you want to go? Like, you love fishing, you know? And I'm like, oh, I just don't like it anymore. And I started questioning myself. I'm like, why don't I want to go? Like, I do love fishing. I, love being outside. Like, and I couldn't figure it out. And then one day I was outside and I'm walking around and, like I hike, do all kinds of stuff. So I'm out and I'm just like walking through this field, and it's all kind of like rough and, bumpy, not crazy rough, but then I had rubber boots on. And so, they're not tight, they're not supportive. So my feet are flipping around in these boots, right? And I'm noticing how uncomfortable. But then I also noticed like it was tightening all up through my legs, and I could feel my hips holding tight. And I'm like, oh, I'm afraid to fall. And so then all of a sudden, I started thinking about it. And I had been having some knee pain and stuff like that. So I was like, it's got to do with my knees. So again, it's that proprioception, starts at the feet, goes up. It's your nervous system and your muscles and your brain all communicating. Anyway, I'll go on and on and on. I will do episodes and I will label them because I probably will be all over the map. If we don't feed our body right, you don't have to be perfect, but you need, one of the things that happens as we age, people don't eat nearly enough protein. And then they start getting small. I remember one of my girlfriends used to say her in-laws could eat off of a chicken leg for 3 days. And I used to think, geez, that's kind of a mean thing to say. But then as I started paying attention to people that I knew as they were aging, they were doing that. Like what they would eat for meat, like I ate a lot of protein. And come to find out, when you're ADHD, your brain needs more protein. And then recently, and I always knew this, that there's collagen in your fascia, which is just underneath of your skin, by the way. There's collagen in your skin. There's collagen does a lot of things in your body, and collagen is a type of protein. So most of us don't get nearly enough protein. And it's funny because you're going to notice me, like I'm crepey here and stuff because I just recently came off of, I had to take prednisone drops and I bloated up and all this stuff because I just recently had my eyes done. So it changed the texture of my skin. And so I was like, okay, you got to start taking, I got some collagen. I had ran out of collagen. I use a supplement, but then I will also cook my meat and take the collagen. I don't throw any of it away. I use it. And it does make a difference. I'm going to be 66 next month. I know I don't look fabulous, but I also know that I could look a lot unhealthier. And so there's so much out there. It's all simple stuff too, right? It's just like really simple stuff. So I love sharing that kind of stuff with you. I will try to share stuff that, try to make you sleep better. I know that there's a lot of specific things that as we age change. So, I'll do the research. I'm not a doctor, right? I'm not going to diagnose anything. And I will give you information. And again, because it is what it is, it'll give you an idea. And sometimes it's just stuff that you need to go back to your doctor and talk about, but you can. I'll share my work experiences. The culture in massage therapy is not great. So these will be kind of negative posts. Again, it's my personal opinion that 50% of the people in caregiving jobs are on the spectrum and possibly have been traumatized in some way, whether it's abuse, generational trauma, whatever. And then in addition to that, in that field during the pandemic, we were exposed to a lot of people's trauma. I think they call it vicarious trauma. People would come in and they were going through some horrible things. And we all did, right? And some more so than others. And so people would share their stories. I will not share people's stories. But there's commonalities there. The whole world changed. Everybody's social life changed. Nothing's the same. And we need new ways to adapt. So there's a lot of answers in neuroscience, and YouTube's a great way for people to build a community. So I'm going to build mine, and maybe later people will want to ask me how I decided to do this. Wow. I can see my clock. I couldn't before. I can see my numbers on my phone. If you have cataracts and you can get them done, do it. So thank you if you have listened this far. And again, I really want you to go in comments. If you watch this video, and I don't care if it's later, I don't care if it's 3 years from now, go in comments if you have questions. And I will read the comments, and it gives me ideas for videos. This way I know what people want to know about. And if I can help, I'm more than happy. It gives me great joy. As a matter of fact, when we help other people, we get dopamine, which is probably not a good thing for an ADHD person because we chase the dopamine, but we also get serotonin. Anyway, I will tell you all about that stuff too. Thank you for listening. I'm so happy that you're here, and I look forward to getting some questions and answering them. Thank you.